pet lovers, this is Liana with Wet Noses Pet Sitting, and we are a pet sitting and dog walking company in Northern Colorado. And for our pet care tip series today, I am here with Kate with the Northern Colorado Herpetological Society. So this is very exciting. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
So with the Northern Colorado Herpetological Society, we are an organization that does reptile and amphibian education and outreach, as well as rescue. So we'll take in pet animals that people can't care for anymore. We'll take calls about advice about what to do with reptile and amphibian wildlife. And we are also here for just an educational resource for pets of all kinds.
That's pretty great. Awesome. And there are, I think, a lot more reptiles than people think that people are getting as pets and stuff.
Exactly.
They don't always know how to properly care for them, so makes that rough.
And there's so many species.
Yes, absolutely. There are a ton of different species out there, and they're all require different care. For the series, what is the one thing that you believe all pet lovers should know?
I think for all pet lovers and anybody who's going to own a reptile or amphibian, it's very important to know about UVB lighting and UVB radiation from the sun. And so a lot of reptiles do require UVB lighting in order to metabolize vitamin D, and so it helps them with calcium and their scale development. And for turtles and tortoises with their shell development, it's very important for them. And animals that do not get this end up developing something called MBD, metabolic bone disease. And that can be really serious. They can lose function of their limbs. I've seen bearded dragons that have no function of their rear ends, and they often don't live to their full life expectancy.
That's so sad, and it's such an easy thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick fix, but it is a little bit complicated and confusing.
Okay.
Because we don't know a whole lot about it yet. We're not experts, as you know, in the whole field of you know how much UVB an animal needs, how much they need to get every day, and where they need to get it.
Okay, so you're kind of guessing, but doing the best job guessing that you possibly can.
It's a guess, but there are good rules of thumb to follow that have been pretty consistent and have given some good results over time.
Okay, that's awesome. So we're going to step over here and she's going to show us some of the different lighting and stuff.
So I have here with me Montu. He's going to help us demonstrate UVB light and what is important for these guys. And I also have with me a solar meter. So this helps me see how much UVB radiation is coming off of these lamps. And this is a very expensive and not super easy piece of equipment to get a hold of. They're about $200 a piece. And so not everybody can have these. So the good rule of thumb is with UVB lights to always replace them every 3 to 4 months. So I'm going to show you an example of these two lights. One of them is giving off a good amount of UVB. One of them is giving off no UVB. So both lights are still shining. A very common misconception is that these lights will actually stop working when the UVB stops being output with it, and that is not true. They'll both shine. They both look very bright. And so how do we know that they're giving off that UVB that these reptiles really, really need? And it's very difficult to tell. So a good thing to do is just replace them every 3 to 4 months. Just be extra cautious with that, even if the light is still shining. So for example, this light here, even though it actually looks brighter than this one over here, if we take our little UVB reader, down here where Montu's sitting, he's getting about 10 UVB there. And so if we use the same light over here at the same distance, this one is giving off about 19. So it's given off quite a bit more. This light bulb here, this bulb is about 7 months old. So this needed to be replaced a long time ago. And this one is brand new out of the box. So how much UVB it's giving off is different at different levels. So up close, it's giving off about 120, 80. And then down on the ground, it's giving off about 20. So you also have to keep in mind how far away they are from the light and how much they need as an animal. So based on the species, you can kind of determine that based on where the animal typically lives. So in the wild, their natural habitat. Bearded dragons typically live in areas that get a lot of sun, so they need a higher UVB than other lizards. But for example, snakes, most snakes are active at night or at dawn or dusk, so they don't actually need UVB. There is not a lot of information out there to conclusively say whether or not they need a little bit or if they need none at all, but they don't need a UVB light for the most part in captivity. There have been no studies that show that they don't live to their life expectancy without that UVB. So it really depends on the species and where they're from, their day-night cycles, all that. So a lot of people think that they can get their reptiles, their UVB, from the natural sun outside, which is great. If you want to take your reptile outside for 30 minutes of natural sunlight when it's nice and warm outside, that's wonderful. They love it. It's really good for them. A lot of people also think that if they have them sitting near an open window, that they can get that UVB. That is absolutely not true. A single pane glass, even just a piece of glass, only 5% of UVB radiation is coming through that. So any new modern housings, modern homes have at least 2 panes of glass in their window. They're getting no UVB from that. It is a huge misconception. They're not getting the nutrients they need from that light, from that window. Yeah. So there's a lot of different brands of UVB light bulbs that you can buy from the pet stores. There's Zilla, there's ZooMed, there is Exoterra, all these different brands. For the most part, all those light bulbs give off about the same UVB per wattage. But some do market themselves, the different light bulbs specifically, as like an iguana light bulb or just a regular reptile version light bulb. And those are actually all the same. So some pet stores might charge more for the iguana bulb than they will for the regular reptile bulb. But if it's the same wattage, they're putting out the same UVB.
So thanks so much for joining us. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming and seeing all of the critters. And
yeah, I know, especially people often think that critters are, reptiles and stuff are good for kids, and there's a lot more information to be had.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if people want to learn more about you guys or get interested in volunteering or just have questions about their reptiles and amphibians, how can they reach you?
So they can reach us on our email, which is info@nocohs.org, or you can just check out our website. There's lots of different information on there, and there's a way to contact us on our page. So that is just nocohs.org.
Beautiful. Well, thank you again for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Iggy says thank you too.